is the right to tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
But I want to get the language right. The big government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! Bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of media?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
Evil men do not understand justice. It is May the 24th, 2016. My name is S.M. Gibson, and this is Anti-Media Radio. We have a more somber show tonight, a more serious show. We have a very courageous and brave woman coming on to speak with us, Miss Juanita Broaddrick. For those who aren't familiar with her, she is a rape survivor, and from an instance that happened in 1978 with Bill Clinton, when he was the Attorney General of Arkansas, running to be governor. Just reading some of the stories today about the Clintons, it's unbelievable. They're just, I don't even know what to say, both of them. Hillary just goes in behind and threatens. There's so many women. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. And we're seeing, Bill Cosby's in the news right now. I wonder, are we going to see Bill Clinton end up getting the same kind of treatment? Is he going to be scarred with, being a rapist? That's what he is. For those who have never heard Miss Broaddrick's story, I highly urge you to listen to on YouTube an interview she did with Lisa Myers back in 1999, and she explains it in detail, what transpired in Little Rock, Arkansas, with then Attorney General Bill Clinton. And think about what a helpless feeling that would be. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a rape victim. Can't even imagine. But think about if it was the person that makes the laws. Who do you go to? Who do you go to? And then when they're president of the United States, like, the most helpless feeling. I can't imagine living with that. But at the end of the day, hopefully we'll see justice. I don't know if we ever will. But it's a sad state of affairs that the last thing we need, I can tell you, is a Hillary Clinton presidency. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to stay out of president. But I think Trump's going to bring all this out and say that he is accusing all of this. Right now, I want to go ahead and bring on a very courageous woman. Miss Juanita Broaddrick. Miss Broaddrick, how are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Doing good. I wanted to tell you, my grandmother's name was actually Juanita.
Oh, is that right? That's
Yes, ma'am.
cool.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure everything's been crazy with Donald Trump mentioning everything he's brought up.
Yes, it's difficult, but I think I'm game.
Okay, I want to go ahead and just kind of give you the floor and let you start and open up and be free to say whatever you want to say and kind of.
Oh goodness, no! Ask me something.
Okay. For those who aren't familiar, your story took place in 1978 when Bill Clinton was Attorney General, and then was it about 2 weeks later you had your encounter with Hillary?
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks later. I'm not for sure of the exact date.
Was that the only encounter that you ever had with either Bill or Hillary?
No, it's not. It's the only encounter, the only time I ever met Hillary Clinton, but not the only encounter with Bill Clinton.
Because you had worked with him prior to that, correct?
Well, I hadn't actually worked with him. I was working in his campaign for governor at the time that he visited my nursing home, and was just really, really excited about his campaign. And when he visited my nursing home, he had made the comment that he would like for my nurses and I, when we come down to Little Rock, to come to his headquarters and pick up some special pens and items that in his campaign that he gave to certain workers, which is what got us to Little Rock. We were down there for a nursing home meeting. And then the only other time, now I may have seen him in passing, but I would avoid him, like when he would speak at our nursing home conventions. When he was governor, I would see him from a distance, but I never spoke to him. But the only other time that I spoke to him was in 1991 when I was at another nursing home meeting in Little Rock, and I was called out of the meeting by someone, said I was needed out in the hallway. And I went out, and my nurses followed me because they were concerned it was an emergency from home. And the man pointed me down around the corner, and when I went down there, Bill Clinton stood there. And just as I went around the corner, there he was. And it was very shocking to me. And he came over to me and started apologizing profusely for what he had done to me back in 1978, and was just saying all these things, and I was just flabbergasted. And he kept saying, I'm a changed man, and I have a family, and I'm just not that person that I used to be. And I looked at him straight in the eyes, and I told him to go to hell, and I walked off. And as I walked off, I started crying, and my nurses came over to me, and it was just an upsetting situation for him to apologize to me like that. But you know, one thing it did, for all those years I had blamed myself for letting him come to my room, and what he did to me that day was a favor. He took the blame off of me and put it squarely where it should be.
You're a strong, courageous woman to have carried this with you all of these years. What did you think, how did you first feel when, I guess you were probably, watching TV like the rest of us, and Donald Trump, drops the word rape, and you knew he was talking about you?
I know it, and it was overwhelming. It was, to say the least, to have someone in that position actually verify, to the people, yes, this happened. This was something that happened to this lady. And I was very appreciative to him. I could not say the word rape for years. It's just been in the last year or so, and of course on the Dateline interview that I said the word. But it's hard to say. it's hard to say the R word. I usually say sexual assault. But rape is what happened. Rape is the correct terminology. So I can say that now.
What was your reaction when Trump tweeted out the video with your voice in it?
Well, I had no idea that was coming out. You know, I was a little disappointed that I hadn't had some kind of a heads up from it, you know, that it was coming, that it just didn't hit me like it did. And what it did have was the most painful part of my Dateline interview, you know, the part that if I should watch now, I'd probably start crying. And that was painful, but I guess I just better get ready for it.
Do you expect to get a lot coming your way from this moment on?
Yeah, I really don't know. You know, it's been very hectic and busy since that political ad came out. And like I said, I was disappointed that I didn't know about it in advance. But I've never talked to any of Trump's people. You know, I have had no communication with them, even though I'm, you know, plan on supporting him because I'm against Hillary. I really have no political contact with them.
So when you originally came out in 1999 and did the interview with NBC, like, what was it that finally drove you and said, okay, enough is enough, I have to tell my story?
I guess it was my son. My son's an attorney, and he had met with Lisa Myers to begin with on my behalf to tell her that, you know, he had talked with me, but I really didn't want to do it. And then finally I decided, you know, this is ridiculous. This is going to plague me all of my life if I don't come clean and tell what happened to me. And so I just sort of gathered up my bootstraps and met with her.
Now, did you ever go to the authorities at any point? And
no, I was too frightened.
Never. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the fear and the help.
Well, you know, my business depended on the state of Arkansas. You know, our rates, everything to do with the business depended on cooperation from the state of Arkansas, which he was the head of.
How did you feel when the different women were coming out through the years? I guess the first one was Jennifer Flowers.
Yeah, I felt so relieved. I thought, oh my God, this is the most wonderful thing. Now I won't ever have to come forward because she'll put the nails in his coffin. And it just didn't happen. I was so disappointed. And then when Paula Jones came out and her investigators came up to my door to ask me what had happened, and I told them I didn't want to talk about it, I just really, I still was shying away from it, you know, when that happened, and was still denying it to myself and to others who asked. And even in the first affidavit, I denied it because I just didn't want to get involved. I was frightened. I was frightened of what anybody might do to me. I was frightened of what people would say about me. And I just finally did it.
Did you ever feel when different women came out like, okay, now I can do it, now I can do it?
Yes. And I would say it, of course, and that's when they all started to come out, then I could say, you know, gosh, this is great. If they'll come out and tell their story, then maybe I can too. And I think that's probably what made me eventually come out.
What do you think about, like, I've seen it on ABC and CBS, and Andrea Mitchell did something the other day.
Oh my God.
When they say old and discredited, that's the words that they use. Discredited,
yes. That word has never been used against me. And it's just outrageous for Andrea Mitchell to spew such a lie. You know, nothing has changed from the detailed investigation that NBC did into my story in '99 before airing it. And if NBC now thinks that my experience has been discredited, why did she even call me? Why did she even pick up the phone and ask me for an interview when she just could have gotten on her website or on NBC and write her own story explaining how I was discredited?
And
it didn't make sense.
I've never heard them give any reason for it to be discredited. It's almost like they're just reciting a line that was given to them.
Right.
Just say this, because that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, well, when Andrea Mitchell called me, that was the day that I sent out that tweet that, I really didn't know what I was doing. I'd not had much experience at all on Twitter. And she was one of the probably 50 reporters that called me and started asking me about the incident with Hillary. And all through her asking questions and me trying to explain, she was saying, well, how do you know this? How do you know that? What makes you think that? She was very intimidating. And I just told her like it was. And then I think she reluctantly hung up and said, well, we're going to air this on the 5:30 or 6 o'clock news, whatever. She originally wanted me to go to the NBC affiliate in Fort Smith for a sit-down, where she could talk to me on, a remote camera or whatever. And I told her, no, I wouldn't do that. But she called back about 10, 15, 20 minutes later and said, we've decided not to air my interview with you, because there's nothing new. And I just hung up the phone.
Have you gotten any threats or anything through the years, or audits? You were audited.
I was audited shortly after the Dateline. Probably
you
within
had never
a few
been
months.
audited before?
No, never been audited.
Have you been
and
audited?
What was unique was they didn't audit me. They audited my nursing home, which had never been audited. And the reason that they could do that was because I was a subchapter S corporation, which goes right back where they could get into the corporate owner's income tax.
Has anybody has they ever come to you to buy you out to keep you quiet or anything?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever been approached? Has anybody offered you money to keep quiet or anything?
No, never.
Clintons ever approach you with anything?
No, I've never been approached by the Clintons.
Other
than when Hillary threatened me and when Bill apologized to me. And the very next week after he apologized is when he announced he was running for president.
Do you think that he was at all sincere when he ran up to you, or was he just being full of himself?
I did. And my nurses and I talked about that all the way home from Little Rock. And we kept saying, is he really sorry? Does he really mean, is he really wanting your forgiveness? And we actually thought it might be possible until we heard in a couple of days that he was had thrown his hat in the ring for president.
And then it kind of made sense to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was just covering his bases.
So, what do you think when I'm going to read a Hillary Clinton tweet to you. I know you know which one's coming. How do you feel when you hear the words, every survivor of sexual assault deserves to be heard, believed, and supported?
Well, I tweeted what I thought. I said, Hillary's disgusting remarks on rape. Shame on you, Hillary.
Yes,
she certainly didn't want us to come forward again.
How many women do you know of personally? And have there been any other women reach out to you as kind of a supporter?
No, but I had a woman after the Dateline interview. I was coming out of Walmart in Van Buren, and she followed me to my car. A very nice-looking, pretty woman, maybe 5 or 10 years younger than me, and told me of a horrific experience that she had had with Bill Clinton. And I wished I'd gotten her name at the time, but I didn't. I mean, just a very nice-looking lady. And she just said, I saw your interview, and I just wanted you to know that what happened to me. And she was at at the Little Rock Convention Center for some type of a function, and Bill and Hillary were there, and she and her husband knew the Clintons, and she said she went outside to the women's restroom, and he followed her and went inside the women's restroom and started pawing and kissing her and trying to push her against the wall. And she said it frightened her to death, and she just thought she was never going to get away from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what year would that have been, do you think, that would have happened to her?
Probably 2000, 2001, somewhere around there.
Why do you think that more women hadn't come forward? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if there's some women that have been intimidated, or they just don't want to go through all the misery that I'm going through now. You know, there was even a woman that contacted Kathleen Willie. She's living in England, and she had a horrific story, but her husband was very against her coming forward and cut off all, correspondence with Kathleen. But she originally told her the whole story. It was awful.
I think y'all are incredibly brave. I mean, are there moments, I'm sure there are, where you regret coming out and telling your story and going public with it, or you still feel like you're glad you did it?
It's just what I have to do. It's, I'll go through anything that I need to go through to keep Hillary Clinton out of office. If I can help in some small way, I'll go through it. I will go through whatever I need to go through.
Do you think you hear all these stories, do you think their marriage is just like a business arrangement?
Oh, I don't think they have a marriage. Lord, no. I think it's a business arrangement. I don't think it's any kind of marriage.
That's the stories you always hear coming out of Arkansas, because when you hear people in Arkansas talk, they always have a different perspective on the Clintons, it seems.
Yeah, they're not. They're just business partners, and that's all they are. He spends too much time philandering around the globe with like an Epstein's Island and all of those things that you hear. They don't have a marriage.
So the lamp story, what was it? She went to lamp after Monica Lewinsky or something?
Yeah, that's what she says.
That's what she says. What do you think what it was, that he was about to screw everything up for her?
Oh, I think she knew. I really think she knew about Monica Lewinsky and probably told him, you better quit. I think she knew about Jennifer Flowers and was upset but couldn't control him. I think if she didn't know as it was happening, she knew shortly thereafter. She had him watched, I'm sure.
Oh, she probably knew everything that he did.
Right.
Was she, they say that, she was, I guess, the quote-unquote brains or the driving force behind what they were. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because I always kind of got the impression that he just kind of ran around and did what he wanted, and she ran behind him cleaning up his mess. Well,
you're right. I do think that. I really do think that. I think she's just it was so important to her to have power, whether it was his power or power through him or whatever. I just think it was so important to her. And I think it is now. Can you imagine that man back in the White House?
Oh, no.
Okay, did you see the piece from Ed Klein in his newsletter?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I did or not.
Yeah, it talks about how he had, here's Bill Clinton's conversation about how he did not want to go back to the White House and be watched and all of this. Anyway, I tweeted it out either today or yesterday.
Well, I'll make sure to go back and check that out for sure.
It's disgusting what he's supposed to have said.
Do you think,
and I trust Ed Klein. He's certainly not a fan of Clinton's, but I think he's a very legitimate source.
Do you think Bill, like with all this Bill Cosby stuff going on, do you think that'll ever happen with Bill? Like that label of rapist will get stuck on him?
Okay, say it again. I didn't quite understand.
Do you think with like all the Bill Cosby stuff going on, do you think that'll ever catch up with Bill Clinton? Do you think the label?
I don't know. He's so much more powerful than Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I think he has. I think if the Clinton Foundation starts to erode like everybody thinks it will, I think it will tie him to so much else. And if these trips on the Lolita plane and Epstein's Island are proven to be true, he's in deep trouble.
Now, what do you think about the Epstein? I know Virginia Roberts was a young lady that said she saw him there on the island.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, I believe it. I believe he was there to have his way with all of the young ladies.
So you think he was that depraved?
Oh, yes.
The story...
Oh, yeah, they said the logs were, 27 trips?
That's what I heard, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. How could he... if he had gone one time and said, I better not be caught here, and never gone again, then that would be different. But he went 27 times.
I definitely get the feeling that he was involved with more than we'll probably ever know about.
Oh,
yeah.
My God. I know. I just wish more women would come forward.
What do you think about this is getting brought up again? Trump brought this up, Vince Foster and that whole situation, from your perspective in Arkansas.
Well, I've always thought that they had something to do with it, and that's the feeling in Arkansas from anybody that I've talked to, that they somehow were responsible for Vince Foster's death. I still believe that.
Now, what about I've heard stories of that goes on. The list goes on and on. So many people around him.
Oh, I know, and I've not read it all. I've just heard, from and read some, but it's frightening. That's why nobody wants to come forward. They don't want to end up in the obituary.
Right. I wonder why they never pursued or came after you.
I'm sorry?
I wonder why that Hillary never came after you other than y'all's one encounter.
I don't know.
I guess that's a blessing. I would say,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that when I met her that one time, that was enough for me. My goodness.
For those, if you don't mind, real quick, tell everybody your one encounter when you met her. The way you tell, just.
You want me to go over that again?
Yes, ma'am. If you don't mind, for everybody, just.
Yeah, sure. I was still feeling that at that time, it was only about 2 or 3 weeks after the assault took place. For so long, I blamed myself for letting him come to my room. That's what women thought back then. If you allowed yourself to be alone with a man in your room, you just better bear the consequences. But he was the Attorney General, and he played this so smart. He had said in the beginning, I want to meet you in the coffee shop. But anyway, I still should never have let that man, being the Attorney General, come to my room. I just shouldn't have done it. So I was still in this same train of thought. I had checks that people had written for his gubernatorial campaign, and I had lists of names of those that were still yet to contribute. And so I was going up to the Criswells to drop this off and then leave. I got there before it started. And before I could get away, I had gone up there with 2 friends, and we were getting ready to leave. And before I could leave, Chuck Watts comes over to me. He was a local pharmacist, and he had driven them from Fort Smith from the airport to the Criswell's home. And he came over to me and he said, the topic of the whole conversation, all the way from the airport, was about you. And I thought, well, good gosh, what? And it made me very nervous. Well, then I see her coming through, and him, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, coming through the kitchen area. And as soon as they do, a lady in there is pointing toward me, and then she starts directly for me, and he goes the other direction. She comes straight over to me and starts profusely thanking me for all that I was doing in the campaign to help elect Bill. And then I just started to turn and walk away. I just wanted to get out of there. And she took hold of my arm with one hand and my hand with her other hand, and she pulled me close to her, and she said, do you understand everything you do? And it just sent chills up my spine. I took my hand from hers, and I glared back at her, and I told my friends, let's go.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it cut out for a second.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. So, because of a 30-minute window in your life in 1978, like, how much do you, like, what did that take from you? Like, what did Bill Clinton, how did that, like, hold you down or weigh you down, should I say, for the rest of your life, and you had to carry that with you? What do you think that cost you?
Oh, he essentially, for years, ruined my life. I'm not going to let him do that anymore. You know, I've taken my life back. And especially since 91, since he apologized to me. Because that really took a weight off of my mind and my heart and everything, because I thought, it's true. He's responsible for this. I'm not responsible for allowing the Attorney General of Arkansas to come to my room to talk about nursing home matters. I'm not responsible anymore. And that's the frame of mind I am in today.
No, and you never were, and I think you're remarkable and extremely brave for coming out and speaking out.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. If you had one message for the Clintons, what would it be?
Oh goodness, I have no idea, except shame on them for all that they've done to hurt women, and especially the women that he abused, and shame on her for thinking that she is eligible at all to be President of the United States.
How far do you think she has gone through trying to destroy different women from the stories that you've heard?
How far what?
Has she gone to destroy women as much as she goes on about how she loves women and, you know, she's woman's rights, but she has personally gone out of her way to destroy?
Oh, I think she has gone out of her way. I mean, just like George Stephanopoulos said, that she actually had a war room. It was called the Bimbo Eruption War Room, where she would send out investigators to try to find anything that they could on these women. And I'm sure she tried to find what she could on me, but there was nothing to find.
Oh, I heard you say in your interview yesterday with Sean Hannity that you were followed for a time.
Yes, for a long time, and that was just prior to the Dateline interview. There was just different cars that would follow me around. They would wait on the highway, and they would follow me to my nursing home, and then they would go on, and then I would see the same car follow me home. They would never try to come to my home, because I have a gate anyway, a security gate. And but it was unnerving.
That would be really scary, but luckily, so nobody ever approached you, though, or...
No. Once when I was in snow skiing in Colorado, someone broke into my home. There was no evidence of anybody breaking into my home, but when we got home from Colorado, my cat was outside, and we knew that we'd left him inside. And the only thing that was missing from my home, strangely, was that, you remember when we had the small cassettes on our answering units?
Yes, ma'am.
That was the only thing gone from my house.
Wow.
And why would anybody want that?
Wow. Really?
Yeah, that was the only thing.
Do you
I
think...
didn't know that for a day or two. We got to thinking, my goodness, did we leave this cat out? And I said to my husband at that time, I said, I made sure he was asleep in on the couch when we left. My cat and we were only gone for like 4 days, so he was fine with his litter box and the food that I'd left out for him. We'd done that before for 3 or 4 days. So there was no reason for him to be out, but I kept thinking, well, somehow I made a mistake, until I found out a day or two later that the cassette was missing off of my answering machine. Now, isn't that the weirdest thing?
That's creepy. Do you think the cat got out accidentally, or do you think it was done to let you know somebody had been in there?
I don't know. I actually do not know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I wonder what was on that
Don't remember. I had so many calls from Lisa Myers, and I'd had calls from other people about encouraging me to do the interview and things like that. And I don't remember.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And you said you had gotten back from a trip?
Yeah, snow skiing.
So I wonder if somebody had called and said something while you were gone. Anything's possible.
I never even thought about that.
Anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah.
Has your feelings, like, overall with politicians and government, I guess, changed? Knowing that
my what?
Your overall feelings of, like, politicians, I guess, in general, and government, knowing that people like the Clintons are in power?
Yeah, my overall impression of politicians is not good.
I tell you what, I think if you have any closing statements or anything you would like to add or mention, please feel free.
No, not really. I can usually answer questions pretty easily, but as far as just doing a monologue, no, I can't.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us. And I want to let it be known that you're not in any way doing this for money or coming on. Like, do you want to get this story out? And
No, I've never taken a penny. I've never written a book. I wouldn't even know how to write a book. I have no desire for monetary gain from this.
Well, thank you again, ma'am, for taking the time with us tonight.
Well, I appreciate your interest. Let's do something to defeat Hillary.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Wow. So that was just an incredible conversation we had with Miss Juanita Broaddrick, who is a self-identified rape survivor of Bill Clinton. Quite some unbelievable stories that I didn't know. The one where she said that she told Bill to go to hell. I had never heard that one. Okay, I want to go ahead and bring on now, sitting in studio, Mr. Kevin Knight. Kevin, what's going on?
Hey, man, good to be back with you guys. Great interview.
And back again from 2-week vacation, Mr. Shannon Madden.
You've got all sorts of guest stars tonight. This is awesome. What a wonderful conversation we had with Ms. Broaddrick.
I definitely feel like more of in a somber mood, though, but just because of the heaviness of what we're talking about and like the pure evil of what the Clintons are.
And it's so sad too, because she sounds like such a wonderful person.
She does.
I just love to go just sit down on the front porch and drink some sweet tea with her. You know, the whole perception of the Clinton quote unquote bimbos, as she referred to the bimbo war room, the Jennifer Flowers and the various different women that opposed for, Playboy and Penthouse and things like that. And it's kind of really obscured some of these other cases. I mean, this is a woman, like she just said, and you can go back and do your own research. We certainly did. She hasn't tried to accept a penny at all for any of this. There was one lawsuit that she did file, and that lawsuit was just that they would release some documents on information that the White House had obtained on her. They basically were putting a file together, and she filed a lawsuit to get her file. They had no right to put a file on her again. She's a hardworking career woman. Sounds like she's definitely made her mark in this world, especially in Arkansas. Good Southern woman, represent. Just a truly wonderful person who's not seeking anything out of this except just to get that story out there. Because here we are, 2016, and it looks like the Clintons are moving right back in.
And think about the world we live in, too, where everybody's trying to sell everything. And that says something for her character. She's not trying to make a penny off of this. She's not trying to benefit. She's not trying to... I mean, that in and of itself lends a whole bunch of credibility.
There's plenty of other media sources, unfortunately, that probably would, I say media sources and quotes, air quotes there, that probably would be willing to pay her to come on and do her show, to at least give her a story.
Oh, I don't know. Not the way they've been talking. I don't know if you heard it. You should have heard Andrea Mitchell. It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I try to avoid Andrea Mitchell as much as possible.
But it was briefly on reports on CBS and ABC I saw that they both said discredited, discredited. Those are like their two lines they had. All three of them said that.
Mentioned it just to discredit,
Yeah.
The story.
They
obviously knew it was going to be coming out and knew it was going to be gaining steam. So.
Yeah, well, there was a woman, too, following Bill around. I saw a reporter saying, what do you think now that Juanita Broaddrick is resurfaced? And she just kept screaming at him. Of course, he didn't respond.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a no comment on there. Bill apologized for it many years ago.
Now, I'll say this, though, for that MSNBC, it's worth noting, the first time they aired the clip of the reporters following him, they showed that part when it was live. But when they reran the exact same segment later, they cut that one part out.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that because, again, Hillary has some of the most powerful friends on the face of the earth. And a lot of those people work in Hollywood and telecommunications here in America. Yeah.
Well, and they can always use the argument, too, to be fair, that he wasn't saying anything. It was just a lady screaming. What do you think about Juanita Broaddrick resurfacing?
It didn't sync up good with the commercials.
Right. But
I mean, that's how she's gotten as far as she has in this election. And
I don't know how she's gotten away with it. It's so bad. It's so bad. They're so evil. They really are. Yeah. I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
Her way through this election should have given you any clue. If you didn't know anything about the Clintons at all, let's say to some of our younger audience, because I'm a little bit older, I remember the Clinton administration. The good years. That's when there was a lot of reaching across the aisle and NAFTA. And I'm going to tell you what, working in the construction trade, business was good back then. Houses popping up everywhere. Now those houses are all crumbling and falling down. They're only 20 or 30 years old. It's sad. It really is.
What do you think about this Jeffrey Epstein business. That's heavy.
Yeah, but again,
that's heavy.
Like as Broaddrick said, I don't think anybody would be surprised about that.
No, not at all. And I can't remember the woman's name, so I'm just kind of repeating what I saw. I saw something about some woman had said Bill had sex with 2,000 women. Something he bragged to her about. I don't believe that.
They agreed to it? Let's go ahead and throw that in there, too.
Plus or minus.
A
percentage of people that probably did not agree.
Let me tell you something, and I certainly didn't want to go into the subject with Miss Broaddrick, just given the sensitivity of it. But hearing her tell her story, like the exact version of events from that day, the way he acted like he didn't act like that was his first time at the rodeo, because he turns around, puts on his sunglasses. Her lip was bruised, and from where he had been biting it like severely, and he said, "You might want to put some ice on that," and walked out the door, just calm, like psychopath. Like that wasn't the first time that man had done that. Like nobody, you don't behave that way, you know.
And he probably convinced himself that she. I'll tell you, I won't finish the rest of that comment. But I can imagine the thoughts of possible superiority, of just Clinton thinking like he is the man with the kind of attitude that he carries with him, and that he would have to make that kind of comment after something completely, you know, not even. I don't expect him to apologize right then at all whatsoever, but just so nonchalant to even make a comment such as that. Just says so much more about his personality, besides just the actions of the rape itself, the physical actions of itself. But just to have the ability to make a comment like that afterwards, and obviously he was not afraid of any kind of retribution whatsoever from anybody.
What was amazing to me in that conversation was also the juxtaposition of the way things were back then, as far as perceptions, you know, a woman letting a man into her hotel room for whatever reason.
But he was Attorney General. Like, I would usually be like, oh, that's not the smartest thing to do. But in this case, I'm completely on, I get it.
Doesn't give anybody license to rape somebody.
No, I get it. But even, like, usually you don't let a man up to your hotel room. But we're talking about the Attorney General. Like, you think that there's a bit of dignity here. Like, that to me, like, that's not... I see her rationale there. Like, I get that.
Well, and again, when you listen to the whole story, when she is told the same story every single time she tells the story too. That's what really, when we were doing research for this, when we first found out that we were going to have the pleasure of this interview, doing the homework, you go back and look at 1999, and polls, you know, taken in and around America, showed slightly more than half Americans just straight up didn't believe her. They believed that she was trying to do this for whatever personal gain she could get out of this idea. This woman hasn't gained a red cent. She has not gained a red cent out of this whole ordeal. And quite frankly, I mean, it sounds like parts of it a little bit creepy. The whole story about the answering machine section.
Yeah.
Man,
that's interesting. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? But that's interesting.
We should have mentioned too that to look at the media sources and look at the American people and how many different sources of media they had to actually go to when this first happened. You know, you basically had your major media sources and your newspapers, which basically kind of copied a lot of stuff off the newswire. So it's really easy, especially when you've got a president was seemingly kind of looked kind of highly upon, at least by the media. It's easy to dictate a national poll like that. So now that we've got, you know, decades almost later, several, you know, years have gone by, we've got access to all sorts of information. People can actually go on and listen to Ms. Broaddrick and tell her story not through the lens of a larger media conglomerate, but listen to her actually tell her story as she's sitting in the next room with you and listen and, of course, see all the other stuff now that Clintons are involved with. And, yeah, it makes a lot more sense now that we've got more open media. At least compared to what we had at one time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the way that information moves around now, it's just absolutely incredible. But again, go back and do your own research, you know, listen to the interview, and go back and do your own research and read all the various different news articles and see the interviews. Her story has not changed this whole entire time.
No, there's she hadn't been discredited.
The sad thing was that
she hadn't been discredited.
When she finally came forward with it, it was right as Clinton was being impeached. We knew so much about Monica Lewinsky and that whole sordid affair at that point in time that there was so much fatigue going on. People didn't care anymore. Okay, yeah, you got a Hummer in the White House and there's all these bimbos going, okay, that's fine. There's another story. Yeah, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. And, but here we go again. Clinton part two, and this time we're going to get a female. It's time for a first female president. You know, that's been a big part of her platform in the debates. You know, it's time for a new change. We're going to try a woman in the White House. This is the type of woman that you're going to put in the White House. and she's planning on bringing her husband back into the White House and putting him in an economic
Oh,
advisory
yeah.
position. No, no.
She's not going to listen to that man or anybody. She's just telling people that. She doesn't need his opinions. She's Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, she's Hillary Clinton. And this is the, for all you can say
That's
about,
my perception of Hillary.
For all you can say about Trump, we don't know for a fact that he's raped anybody. Of course, there is a story out there floating around.
Yeah, with Epstein again.
We don't know how valid it is just yet, but
Man, Epstein, you talk about, that's a joke of a story right there.
Depraved. I mean,
He sick, depraved, and he didn't get much time for what he did. He's out. He's sick. But, palling around with Bill Clinton. Say they saw him on that island. Some of the stuff that was going on there. And Bill Clinton was there 27 times.
27 times. That must have been enough. I've visited
27 times and what was going on that island?
I've visited a lot of vacation places numerous times. Like, I got Big Lagoon down in Florida. I've gone there probably like 7 or 8 times over the years. 27 times.
27 times.
What a hell of a time he was having.
27 times.
God. And we're going to put him right back. Well, excuse me, we're going to put Hillary, the woman that knew what's happening. All right, Bill, don't catch anything on the way out. See you.
Right.
I predict
Don't have to
Bill,
catch any scandals that I got to deal with when you get back home.
if Hillary were to get in office, God forbid, I can imagine, I could just foresee us seeing a dead Bill in a few short years.
But then
Oh, yeah. He looks to me like he's going to fall over now.
He could blow away easily.
Yeah, he looks sick.
he is sick.
Well,
Did you hear the story that I just heard?
right, but he looks like he's like physically.
Good on him.
Alien.
Parkinson's, possibly. Cancer, maybe. I don't know. He's got something. He's definitely got something wrong with him. I say this from a sociological standpoint, the two most fascinating people, like how evil are they? Like, how do you have to be like, that's your life goal? Like, I'm just going to do anything and everything for power, no matter what. Like,
They probably just are some of the more obviously visible people, but unfortunately there's a lot more people like them.
and no conscience, like at all. And I think too that Bill, I think he, like if you hear Catherine Willey's story, I think he just did stuff because he could. Like, it's almost like he came across as like, I'm so powerful, I can literally do anything I want.
Drunk with power.
Yeah, I can do anything I want. That's how it kind of came across to me.
You'd be on par for your average politician these days. Sure.
Yeah, that's another level now. Well, I mean, they're all like that, but you know,
They've just made it to a new level of elitist.
they have. So Shannon, what were your overall thoughts of our discussion?
I thought it was an absolutely wonderful interview. She actually kind of brought to light a few things that I'd never heard before. But this broadcast will be replayed on YouTube, on the UCY channel. Just type in Anti-Media Radio search bar. You can listen again. It's absolutely fascinating. That's what really struck me throughout the whole interview. She's just a real genuine person.
Very much so.
I mean,
very much so. That woman wasn't lying about anything she was saying.
Baking in the oven. I mean, she was an honest, genuine person, not your normal, attention whore that we see in these type of situations. And suddenly it's like Jessica Hahn or somebody like that, where it's suddenly a cash grab and somebody that was in a strange, nefarious situation to begin with and decided to capitalize on it. She was somebody that was victimized.
Sure.
And it sounds like she's definitely reclaiming her life.
I mean, I just can't. Yeah, I can't applaud her enough. Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some strength right there to stand up to to the Clintons. And, you know, especially, look, Vince Foster, all that stuff. I mean, she's brave. I'll say that.
Yeah. And it's very understandable that she stayed as quiet as she was for as long as she did.
Certainly.
You know, yeah, the Clintons are not.
I can understand it, though.
Clintons are not to be trifled with.
I can understand being in fear. I can understand, like, hopeless. Like I said at the beginning, like, I can't even, like, being, like, if you're a rape victim, which I can't imagine being, but then it was the President of the United States, like, who are you going to tell? Who you telling? Nobody.
The police.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be the most helpless of helpless. Like, there's nothing you can do. And so to come out and say it, I just think is so brave and courageous. And want to thank her again for coming on and appearing. Kevin, what was your take on everything?
Same thing, man. You know, I've watched some of the other interviews with her. She seemed just as real to life and just as genuine as she has in all previous accounts. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. She obviously just didn't seem like it was rehearsed. It seemed like genuine from the heart.
Yeah.
And it's the same basic story that we've heard in the past.
Like,
and you know, and we needed to hear it. It was time that we heard it again.
Oh yeah, it never even like crossed my mind at any point. Like I was listening to like anything other than true version of events. Like,
you know, but that's you know, but that's one of the narratives we've heard from some of your more mainstream media, and I think you know that was. Unfortunately, it takes some other alternative media to actually allow a more unbiased account of what exactly happened to kind of get out there.
Yeah. So for Andrea Mitchell, okay, saying it's discredited. Ooh, how?
Well, of course, she's doing what Andrea Mitchell does routinely. Gets out. She's trying to get out there in front of it and to start the to start the new narrative.
Wrong. You're both wrong. She's following company line. She's quoting the company line. That's exactly what that was. That came off somebody else's desk on her desk. She looked at it, smiled blankly, and repeated the words on the piece of paper. The end.
Yeah.
Hillary's got all sorts of friends everywhere.
Oh, of course. That's why I say she's continuing the narrative. She's going with it, starting the narrative.
Hillary Clinton is the narrative. Remember that guy that used to have the car commercial here in Birmingham? I am the bank. Yeah. Hillary Clinton is the bank.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like it's catching up with her, though. The FBI is coming down on her. And, look, Donald Trump...
Hillary is the bank.
For whatever you want to say about Donald Trump, we all know I'm not the biggest fan of that man, and by that's a long shot, saying I'm not a fan of him. But sure is going to be enjoyable to watch him just throttle those people. They have got every bit of this coming. Because, look, he's a bully. He's going to just say crazy stuff. Anybody else.
And half of it will be true.
Anybody else.
Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Right. But you would have a little bit of sympathy for and say, okay, they're human beings. But not the Clintons. Nope. They deserve every bit of it. Welcome back to the second hour of Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. There we go. How about that?
I had nothing to do with that, by the way.
Sound director.
No.
So, you were listening to Anti-Media Radio. I, again, am your host, S.M. Gibson. We're joined in the studio, always with Kevin Knight and Suanna Madden. We're starting second hour. You can always check us out at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays on ucy.tv/TAMR or the Anti-Media Radio or the antimedia.org/radio. I'm going to get it right. One day I'm going to get that right.
You're fired.
I know.
Tried to fire you before the show.
It didn't stick. We had an absolute unbelievable conversation in the first hour of the program with Miss Juanita Broaddrick, who is a self-identified Clinton rape survivor, and I can't be any more convinced of anything Just as the sky is blue, I believe her story, despite what mainstream outlets would have you believe. I will say this, I'm no fan of Sean Hannity. We all know that. Not a big fan.
No, I cannot stand the man.
But I will credit him that he's kept the story going.
He has been all over the story for years and years. So you really, regardless of what.
And I hate to.
Yeah, I hate to give him any credit for anything, but he's definitely been all over this and given her a platform to voice her.
Oh yeah, it just makes me cringe. But I have to say, and it's turned into this, of course, this political right-wing conspiracy kind of a business. That's such a joke to me.
Well, and you heard her.
There's no left. There's no right here. This is like someone is a victim of sexual assault. Like, what does that have to do with politics?
And you heard her comment down toward the end of the interview that the fact that this is definitely giving her a very sour taste of what government is, and what politicians are, and what these awful, nasty, trashy people that somehow seem to keep finding their way into power.
Well, why wouldn't it? She came out. She was new to politics by her own admission. New to politics. Found Bill Clinton, or discovered Bill Clinton, felt like she finally found somebody she could get behind, and actually could go on and support, threw her weight behind it, campaigned for him, and actually went as far as getting out there and doing a lot of footwork for him, only to turn around and be completely abused and let down by somebody she ultimately trusted.
And then the follow-up from Hillary, though, that right there is the creepiest part of all.
Oh, certainly. Stands by her man, doesn't she?
She's something like that.
I say by her man loosely. As Ms. Broaddrick pointed out, she thinks it's not a genuine marriage. It's probably a marriage of convenience at this point.
Yeah, we've all pretty much discussed that in private and on this program. That's
Larry Nichols. Larry Nichols says that Chelsea is not Bill's daughter. Says it's Webb Hubbell's daughter. I don't know if I believe that or not. She does look like Webb Hubbell.
That's another story for another show.
Yeah, it is. But I want to go ahead and bring on our writer and journalist, Miss Claire Burnish. Claire, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Doing good. So I assume you were listening in for the first hour. From your female perspective, what was your take of the overall interview?
Well, first of all, she really has not changed her story in any significant way at all. I mean, she's not making any sort of profit off this. She has nothing to gain except to try to prevent what happened to her from happening to other people. So, there's no reason for her to want to tell this story other than because the truth needs to be known. And, in that end, I think it's really important that she comes out and says something because, he's a really creepy guy, and his wife she just sounds, I don't know, just almost evil, like you were saying, like so incredibly vindictive and hateful. And she's trying to be the leader of this country, so I think that needs to be known.
And it kind of is what it is. We're in a situation where we live in a country where it sounds like when you're slamming Hillary Clinton, you're promoting Donald Trump. Nobody here is promoting Donald Trump. I want that to be.
Yeah, we really need to be very clear about that tonight.
Yeah, this isn't like a Donald Trump hit piece. This is not a Donald Trump rally by any stretch of the
lives matter.
Yeah. It's a shame that it has to have that.
I know that it has to have that, but this is about the truth. This is about a woman who was a victim of something, and somebody that you would assume would never get in trouble. Most people still don't believe it.
I think that it's really important too to say that it's not about one of these people being better for office than any other one. It's just showing how bad they all are equally. You know, Clinton in particular has some serious, she has too many skeletons for closets. So really it's important that, all of this be known ahead of time.
And Big Daddy Donald's going to beat her down. He brought up Vince Foster already. They're not even running against each other yet. And he's like, that sure was fishy.
I think he's ready to get it out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it didn't take very much from Hannity to come out and mention the Broaddrick, or the rape.
He'll 100% call them murderers before this is over.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Rapists and murderers. It will come out of his mouth.
Well, he'll be echoing really something that I think a lot of us agreed with when we complain sometimes about how easy the American people jump behind Donald Trump with anything he might say at any given point. But I think this is something that all of us have really been saying quietly and to an extent growing louder. That this definitely needs to be said, no matter what side you're on.
It is, and I think the scary part with Trump is he can say anything, and I think people are going to believe it, whether it's true or not.
Definitely.
But when it comes to the Clintons, there's a lot of material that you can go down for years and years and years, and we can sit here and say, this story is discredited. That's bogus.
What about all the other 90 stories? I mean, Jennifer Flowers, Kathleen Willey.
I think Jennifer Flowers was consensual, though. It was a girlfriend, I think.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, but let's keep the whole list entirely.
Right.
Jennifer Flowers, Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones, Juanita Broaddrick, Monica Lewinsky.
The Energizer lady, that I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then there was, again, we just heard
They say that was his girlfriend, too.
We heard a story a moment ago from Juanita Broaddrick, from a woman coming up to her out of nowhere and just saying, hey, by the way, I just thought you might want to know that this kind of happened to me, too. I'll see you. I'm out of here.
Right.
Who was the lady that gave the interview recently at her home where she pointed to the table and it kind of halfway demonstrated how Clinton laid out his bag of coke before he went and snorted? Did you guys see that interview?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he sat on the couch and explained and showed this is what Bill did when he came and saw me, and that he regularly was snorting cocaine, and that he did it fairly often. But, yeah, in her home, and actually pointed the table right at where she claims to did that. I forget her name, but her story's been told a few times in the media as well.
That guy is a diva. Like, he is just a terrible.
He is. He gets around, man. I think you're right, though. I think he does not care. He's probably been riding so high on power for so long. And look what happened to him. I mean, even the impeachment process, he kind of skated through.
So let me give you just a what if. What if Hillary just at this moment saw and finally started to realize the political damage that Bill Clinton is finally going to be.
She's the damage. She's the damage. Look, she's the damage.
He comes with the territory.
Yeah, she's the damage. This isn't Bill Clinton. She's done her part.
The whole Clinton dynasty.
Yeah. This was a tag team.
Yeah. And how many lives have been affected by that?
Yeah, there's no telling.
I mean, really, where do you want to
there's no telling. Oh, yeah, there's no telling. How many thousands of people that these people have affected, all for the glory of themselves. It's sad, the mindset of these people.
So everybody out there listening, you either vote for her or you can vote for Donald Trump's crazy ass. Those are your two picks. Those are what the establishment is giving you to choose from for President of the United States. Congratulations.
I need to get
vote right now.
I need to get John McAfee back on.
Oh man, we really need McAfee back on. That guy makes sense.
He's definitely more in line with the way things need to be running than I think the two big corporate mega guys, But whatever. That's just my opinion.
There's a big push right now to get Ron Paul to run.
I heard that. Is that actually catching steam?
It's
and it's actually gaining a lot of momentum from what I've seen.
Well, there's no way Ron's going to do it.
I don't think so.
I would
either.
love to think that Ron would keep it up with somebody that keeps up with libertarian politics, some of the inner politics. Ron is really give no interest whatsoever. I would love, and I think most people would love for him to run. As libertarian leanish as he is, but I don't think
he could win. I do.
Yeah, he could. He could not only like give it a big shake-up at this point, but he could also win pretty handily, I think.
I do. I think people would vote for him in mass. Like, I think it would be like, oh, y'all want to do this? You want to get nuts?
Yeah,
let's get nuts.
If all of these clues weren't clues enough for you to figure out that your vote doesn't matter, yeah, we'll go ahead and put Ron Paul up there, and there'll be this massive wave of support for him, and somehow he won't become president of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Bet your ass on that.
Right.
They don't want that man to become president of the United States. You saw what they did in the last, 2012. I mean, he gained huge momentum very early on, and all of a sudden, he's a crazy person, and has his people let her back to the day.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Ron himself did a little bit of damage to his own campaign by getting out so early. And he didn't seem to want to actually, I don't think Ron really wanted to win as much as he wanted to have a platform. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think he actually is ready to run again. I mean, look at...
Wait a minute. You told me that he was running for president, and he didn't it wasn't a good idea for him to come out in front so early?
No, it's not when he gave in, when he ended his campaign. When he actually ended his campaign for president, he ended it really early, a lot earlier than what some of us felt like he... he didn't get the nomination. Rand did. Rand ended his campaign a little bit early, but Ron came out in support of Romney kind of shortly, a lot sooner than a lot of people thought.
After he was raked over the coals by the media.
Oh, right. Well,
once they saw him as an actual serious contender for president of the United States, everybody came over the coals immediately.
Well,
we will have none of that kind of talk here.
It was bound to happen. Even in Fox News, who routinely showed polls.
Let me tell you what aggravates me more than anything on this planet is watching these people like Sean Hannity that in 2012 just dogged Ron Paul. Glenn Beck, all of them just
terrorists.
dogged
him.
That
Ron Paul and his followers are terrorists.
Oh, yeah, nut job, like crazy. And now they all look at him like this elder statesman. Ron Paul is so smart. But just 4 years ago, he was crazy to them. But look, it goes back to Miss Broaddrick's story. It's just how the media is. They just say whatever.
Opportunity knocks.
Mm-hmm. That's it. They just follow the trend. They just go with it. It's WWE. Got to follow the crowd.
Might as well be.
Can we just quit doing the show and watch some wrestling right now?
No, we're.
This is really bringing me down.
No, it's I think it's good that we talk about this stuff and we get this out and we do know these people that are in control of a large part of something called the U.S. / whatever oligarchy. Yeah, they've got going on with these corporations.
Mass superstate almost.
Yeah, because it's an oligarchy now for sure.
Plutocracy. I still think it's a plutocracy.
I say mass superstate because it hadn't, to some degree, we're still confined to U.S.
You said probably. You're probably about it. We are.
And it's 100% an empire when you have over 100 military bases.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is where we're at today. And, I know that Donald Trump he says everything. He says everything. That needs to be said. Like, he's had every opinion on every topic, so of course you're going to find something you agree with because he's all over the place.
Can you just imagine how anxious and nervous Hillary's going to be walking out of that very first debate?
Oh, if she's not, if she's not, she needs to be. She needs to try to get out before then.
You think that she'll find a way to maneuver away from debating him at all?
Yeah, I don't know why she would do that. I don't know what's saying. Like, there's no brain cell left if you go out there.
You think she would have the audacity to at least give it a shot?
That's like, I don't know. To me, that's like sending, like, your 5-year-old child into the ring with Mike Tyson when he was 20 years old, no stipulations. Just let him go. Like, that's what's going to happen. She's going to get brutalized. It's going to be bad. It's going to be funny.
Well, and do we really, I would not be completely surprised to see Trump himself back on some of the debates and interviews. At this point, if he gets the nomination, he's got it. He's not going to lose any fans. And he's only going to get pressured. I want to see the media pressuring him even more as far as...
He is going to rip her.
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about his policy perspective.
Oh, you're right.
That's what I mean. I don't see, at this point, I can see him not being in debates as much
That's why I see him getting more vocal about it, because that's going to keep the pressure off of him to talk about it.
He's not going to have to talk about policy in the debate.
But it may not be on a debate stage.
Bill the rapist. That's it.
That's it. He's not. That's it. He's not going to have to say a word in those debates. There's not going to have to be any substance, because it's going to be pay-per-view level.
Vince Foster.
I think we'll see most of his claims come out in the media, though, and rather not the debates.
Oh God, no, man! There will be a microphone in front of his face. If there is a microphone in front of his face, he's going to say the first thing that pops in his mind.
Did you hear about
the first thing that pops in his mind is grabbing somebody by their nuts and yanking down?
All right. Did you hear about the intelligence briefings? Trump's now they're giving him redacted versions because they're so scared.
What he's going to say.
Yeah, that he'll turn around and say it.
Of course he will.
I'm a little surprised that he's even getting redacted versions of anything, especially when he doesn't even have a nomination.
Well, he does.
Oh, I don't doubt it one bit.
Do you remember when he first went toe-to-toe with Fox News and Megyn Kelly? And now look at him.
He's won.
They're doing exactly what he wanted to.
He's won every step.
He had to settle down a little bit, but now they're doing exactly what he wants to do.
Well, they're doing what he wants to do because they realize that he's the front runner for all intents and purposes.
What other candidate can you think of, Republican candidates, since the inception of Fox News as the right-wing sounding board? What other candidate has been able to have that kind of pull going in there saying, nah, we don't do it like that. You're going to set the stage up like this. We're going to do this right here. You're going to pay me some money. She's going to shut her mouth up and do exactly what I say and this, that, and the other, and then that's going to be it. And yeah, kind of rearrange that face over there. That's exactly what he's been able to do. I mean, we're not talking about a normal candidate here. I mean, any kind of conventional politics or any view of conventional politics or how politics is supposed to play out, it's completely out the window now. I mean, this is a no-holds-barred street fight is what this is going to turn into. And I'm going to tell you, the tongue on that one...
She's not going to have any response for some of this
there
stuff.
Will be nothing.
He's going to bring up this... He's going to talk...
do the Hillary freeze. You know the Hillary freeze.
He is going to...
I'm not aware of that.
He's going to repeat the words of Miss Broaddrick on stage.
Oh, sure.
To Hillary Clinton.
But how many times is he going to mention that before the...
Hey, as long as the rating points keep going up,
yeah.
Keep sliding down, he'll say it.
Well, they're going to be going up.
He'll say it till the cows come home, the pigs come home, the chickens come home to roost, man. Come on.
They'll be going up regardless.
It's going to be ugly. And he's going to go for the jugular in every twist and turn. You know what? He does not want to have to talk about his politics. He does not want to have to talk about any cabinet positions.
He's not going to have to, I'm telling you.
Nominations or anything like that.
But he's already covered that with his little list. That he says he knows.
Just read the list, it'll be fine. Let's get back to talking about this old Mitch Foster affair.
Yeah. Well, that's all. Look, that's the culture we live in the United States now. First off, and we need to be talking about the Vince Foster affair. Let's get real.
Absolutely.
So, that's the thing about,
We need to be talking about the redacted votes. We need to be talking about the Juanita Broaddricks and the Paula Jones and the Kathleen Robbins. We need to be talking about,
you better believe it.
All of the shady dealings from the emails to Benghazi to, Honduras to Libya and so on and so forth. We need to be talking very frankly and very openly about Hillary Clinton. Well, she's the opposition candidate to Donald Trump. I certainly don't know Hillary. Hillary's, if we just get Hillary, we'll get more of the same. I've been hearing a lot of that too, and I don't know. I mean, I just.
Oh, so Claire, can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay. So, where do you think this is going to go? I mean, do you see this sticking on Bill? Do you think this time around people are finally going to go, yeah, Trump said it, and
I think it's this time around. I think that the accusations against Bill are going to stick, against Hillary are going to stick, and the two of them, this is kind of, I think this might be the moment. There's so much out there. I'm actually kind of trying to write on, a couple different things. But in doing that, I've been researching some of the fraud and some of the various things going on with the Clintons, and the evidence it's overwhelming. Like, there is literally no reason why there shouldn't be charges of some sort brought against both of them for various things. I was stunned at some of the things I saw. So I think that, yes, the allegations against him for his kind of escapades the kind of slimy stuff, I think that that's going to stick too, because it just adds to the rest of the evidence, and it fits the character of the kind of person for the other fraud that I've seen.
And the thing is, we say these allegations, none of this is new. Not one bit of this is new.
Right.
But this is because Donald Trump's going to bring it up. And then think, too, Epstein, that looks bad. That looks real bad. I mean, 27 times, Claire?
Yeah. You have that, you have all of the various women over time, you have, it kind of baffles my mind that he's not serving time for some of what he's done here. I guess we'll have to see.
And I know with Miss Broaddrick's case, the statute of limitations has been up, forever.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to get in trouble for any of this stuff as far as that goes. It looks like Hillary.
No, but if he gets in trouble for one thing, I think the rest of the dominoes are going to be stacked. They're all going to fall. It's not necessarily that there's one thing that would do it, because obviously we've seen that the one thing has come and passed numerous times. But it's all of those things put together. Something major will stick this time, I think.
The Paul Jones situation, for instance, he was actually disbarred. After his presidency had ended, he was disbarred by the state of Arkansas for 5 years or something for misleading testimony, and also wound up he settled with her. I believe she got
$850,000.
Almost $1 million.
So yeah, she got the one person I think that seemed the one they say is not discredited. That's the one. Because, the president wasn't convicted in court, then, these women are discredited. I still want to know how. That's my question. How? How is anything that we were told in the last hour, how is that discredited? It sounded all pretty legit to me.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it's not like she is the only one to make the allegation. This is not like some person out with, who has a vendetta, who's out for blood for whatever reason. This is not, it's not even like this is an accusation that's been made by two women. I mean, this is a kind of a constant theme.
Yeah, constant theme. And he's going back to the White House. If corporate America has their way, they have certainly shown.
I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see Clinton's winning. I just think Trump is just going to I don't know how anybody's going to go vote for Winston. He is going to paint a picture, a real picture. Like, he's not going to have to make up crazy stuff. That's what people need to understand. Like, there is a lot on those people.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, there's also I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but like the various Clinton foundations, Clinton Global Initiative, all of those kind of charitable organizations. There is somebody looking into it who's he's been sifting through the paperwork for 15 months now, and said that they should be behind bars. Like, he's about to come out apparently with. He's already kind of leaked a little bit of information, but he is about to come out with a big report on what he found, and it essentially says that the Clinton Global Initiative is nothing more than like a money laundering scheme, pretty much. It has almost nothing to do with charity whatsoever.
Oh, I think that. I think they run the Clinton Foundation and that stuff. I get the impression it's run like the mafia would run something.
Yeah.
I mean, they just run money through there. I mean, Saudi Arabia, giving them how much money? All the different people that have given them money. And then what was it? One of Bill's girlfriend, the Energizer lady, they tried to give her, what, $2 million? Is that right, Claire?
I don't remember who that was.
Yeah, it was the most recent. And that's another one that Trump has mentioned. But she was supposed to his girlfriend and would come visit. But anyway, she got $2 million, I believe it was, from the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So,
see what I mean? There's just like there are so many things. It's hard to even keep track of them all.
Oh, I know. And I mean you could go back forever into their history in Arkansas. There's no telling what
The trail of dead leading from the Arkansas Capitol all the way to the White House.
Oh, I know it. All the way to, there's no telling how many people. I wouldn't put anything past them. And I think it's all for just, it's power hungry. Like a switch is flipped.
You cannot forget that this is the couple, the so-called power couple that we're talking about, that basically stole furniture from the White House when they left.
I was just fixing to bring that up, Claire. I swear. It's got about as soon as you went to talk, I'm going to say the same exact thing.
I mean, that really, if anything speaks volumes out of all of it, if there's nothing else that you believe from anybody else saying anything bad about the Clintons, that in itself is telling.
They're just trashy people, man. They are just straight up trashy people. There's no getting around that.
They're something. I don't know what they are, but it's undesirable, whatever it is. But it's so sad that this woman why does she even have a chance to be president? Why?
Yeah. It's money. I'm telling you, the stuff that I found in this fraud, the amount of money that flows, like particularly through the organizations, and that goes into making policy and everything else, and the election, and I mean, it's all about money in this case. And it obviously speaks louder than evidence.
So you think that, this is actually going to catch up? Like, you think this is it? Like, we're finally going to see what we never thought we would see. The Clintons go down, in trouble.
I believe, I didn't used to think that it would ever happen, and now I'm leaning towards that it probably will. But, this is the same couple that we're talking about. This is the Clintons, and obviously nothing has stuck so far. So unless it really culminates, unless somebody comes out with, just something that literally can no longer be explained away or denied, there's still a chance that they can get back to the White House.
How I think of it is that it's kind of like she has evaded real questions and denied for years. And they've just been backed into a corner. And once she gets on stage with Trump, she's finally in the corner. And how's she going to get out of it? We'll see. I don't think she's that skilled of a politician to weasel her way out. I really don't.
I think she's in the crosshairs.
Maybe Bill in his prime could have done it. That would have been a match of political, whatever that is, of being sleazy, I guess. But she's not that well versed in the game of politics. She's not a likable person. Bill was likable to the public. No matter what he was doing behind the scenes, he was likable. Wouldn't you say so, Claire? Wasn't that the...
Yeah, I was going to say that actually. He was like kind of a little bit more forceful Joe Biden, when he was in office. And she is just like the ice queen. Like, there is nothing, every smile that she gives in public looks fake. I mean, she just she's not personable. She's not likable. She makes most people I know cringe. So. I
can't imagine what she's like. And I would just love to hear her go behind the scenes. There's no telling the stuff that comes out of her mouth.
I bet she curses like a sailor.
Like a sailor. Oh, man. I bet every other word. And I bet you she is so arrogant. Like arrogant. Like bad.
Yeah, and think about that in the context of what Ms. Broaddrick was saying, that, like, when she came up and kind of grabbed her hand and stuff, and just kind of talked to her really coldly like that, and she got chills, down her spine, that makes sense. I can see that.
Sure.
And, that's creepy, because that means that Hillary would have had to have known about either known about it, or Bill may have said something about, oh, that girl over there's got a thing for me, you need to watch out for her, whatever. I mean, just the fact that, Hillary would just straight up come up to her like that instead of, hey, let me talk to you woman to woman, or this, that, and the other, just straight up. Just like,
it was an intimidation thing. Yeah. I mean, how would you feel, Claire, if a woman came up to you after something like that and looked you in the eye? Like, you wouldn't think she was there for support, obviously.
Not even close. No, that's pure, like, vicious intimidation right there.
And that's what's so terrifying. And then we get Hillary Clinton, who's just, if you're going to vote for anybody else and you're a woman, how dare you? You can't claim to be a woman anymore if you're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Like, that's the biggest nonsense in the world. That's all she has going for her. That's it. And I haven't heard any women that I know say they're going to vote for her. I don't know who supports her.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. Out of all of the, I like to get political discussions on Facebook. I know that it's, especially some people that are probably listening to this broadcast find themselves doing from time to time, trying to convert some of our status friends and things like that. But, I really haven't run into that many ardent Hillary supporters. Anytime that I've mentioned anything about Hillary, usually they just kind of bow out of the conversation gracefully. They don't really want to talk about policy. But, okay, well, we'll just see what happens in the election. It's like they know that the game has somehow been rigged, at least for her to get this far. I'm not saying that the game is rigged for her to win the whole thing. I just think that we're going to find out at the end of this what kind of farce the American political system really has become. Your vote doesn't matter anymore, everybody. Come on now. There's no candy in that van.
It feels that way.
And I don't care who's driving the van. You got two just very evil. Yeah.
Claire, you got something on this?
Yeah, see, the thing, what I have been puzzled about, we were talking about how Hillary doesn't seem to have much support. And, apparently she does somewhere. I think a lot of it's fake support in terms of the fraudulent practices in the primaries and caucuses that we've seen so far. But, the one thing that I think is conspicuously absent, which is really odd, is she has, like, no presence in any circles around, on social media. And, even the kind of really obscure candidates have a social media presence that you occasionally see their things fly through your newsfeed. With her, I just don't.
Trump is dominating social media. dominating. I was going through like Facebook today, and there's just some video of him just doing one of those like Facebook mention videos or whatever it is. Just talking. What do you say? Something about the Clinton Foundation. You better check into the Clinton Foundation. You're gonna accuse me of something. Better look over there.
I just mean that there's like, there's a presence in terms of like Sanders has a lot of supporters who kind of make a lot of memes and, kind of praise their candidate and get him seen everywhere and kind of try to influence people and all of that. Trump, maybe not in the same dynamic, but it's the same idea where he has like a big fan base that will share all of his information and kind of like let you know that they believe in him or whatever.
Plus, everybody's talking
with
about
Hillary, there's just nobody. There's no equivalent to that about Hillary. The only thing that even comes close are all the negative things that you see batted around. So her support is a very strange, odd thing.
Well,
the fact that she's come this far.
In normal, everyday, walking around talking to people, you just don't meet them.
Well, what that is I think the reason for the social media, the lack of social media on Hillary Clinton's part, is because, especially with Bernie, he's got the youth vote. And that's why you're seeing this big push you saw it with Ron Paul, because young people really you saw it with even Rand Paul to a lesser extent. Online, it was a huge presence, but in the real world, it wasn't so much. And Bernie's online presence is massive. And no young people care about Hillary Clinton. Young people hate her. So that's why I think there's nothing there. Because she's got people on her staff to do it, and that's about it. Because there's no, organic fire, for Hillary Clinton. Like there is for Bernie, and like there is for Trump. Say what you will. Even somebody like McAfee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like McAfee, Jill Stein, Vermin Supreme. I mean, all of these candidates have a presence in some form where you've seen it repeatedly. But with her, it's either an incompetent staff or her, she doesn't have enough business acumen to, kind of harvest social media, or there's something fishy going on with the fact that she has such a huge, kind of delegate count.
Well, she's out of touch. And what I find interesting is, remember back in 1992 when it was George Bush Sr. against Bill Clinton, and George Bush Sr. was seen as the old establishment, this old man. We got these hip, young, cool Clintons. This guy's playing the saxophone. He's going on Arsenio. He's doing MTV. Hey, he tried a joint one time. He didn't inhale, but yeah, sure he didn't. But and now they have become what they ran against in 92. They're the old establishment. People are tired and sick of them. And they want to see it go. Yeah,
that's a good point.
The cool factor is gone.
Well, you say that, but then look at all of her popular vote totals throughout this election. Man,
those aren't real. Those aren't real.
There's no way they can be.
That's not real.
I agree.
That's stuff they say on the television. What we have is Bernie Sanders has a lot of supporters, and that's it. And they're never going to let Bernie Sanders get the nomination in a trillion years, ever, because
the Democratic Party's Ron Paul this election cycle.
He is, and I just kind of, but I disagree with Bernie on so much. But if they had a brain in their head, he's way more likable than her. He beats Trump in some of these polls. Why wouldn't you run him? But they don't. What he says about the banks, they'll never let him do anything. Ever, because of that. So
I'll tell you why they're not going to let him in. Because I can tell you, I can give you an example of exactly why. Because his politics, his economic politics, his policies are the same kinds of policies, or at least similar to the policies of the countries we like to overthrow the most.
Well, sure. And look at what's going on in Venezuela right now. Jeez.
That's heartbreaking.
That's just horrible. And, we hear about Sweden socialism all this time, or Denmark or whatever, but we never hear about Venezuela
Oh, and it's only going to get worse. I think the anti-media covered, Clarence, maybe one of your articles covering, mentioning the fact that Venezuela's government is now claiming that the U.S. is possibly going to invade. Did you guys see that claim yet? And of course, it seems worked up, but it seems like it's the government's attempt to clamp down on opposition and using it kind of as a means of, hey, we've got to get control now, or the U.S. is going to invade.
Well, the president's already implicated in the United States in their economic crisis at the moment. He's been very vocal about that. So the table's already been set as far as that goes, and we'll see if there's any validation to it. I know that we've heard from our friend Brother Manny, who was called in from time to time, to discuss a lot of the military equipment that has floated its way through Mexico down towards Central America. Now, of course, we don't know what for. That was just something that was reported and kind of quietly pushed by, but then we hear some stories like this. We already know what happened down in Honduras. So, I don't know. It's curious to see if there's any way behind this.
So, we know what we're going to get if Hillary would ever be president. We know exactly that the war policy.
Oh, yeah. The bombs will drop.
Right, but I don't think that's going to happen. So
she's already got a map at home with red circles around it.
Mm-hmm. So the question is how is Trump going to respond to this?
Yeah.
He talks a good game on foreign policy, some of it. I'm not going to say I disagree with everything that comes out of his mouth on foreign policy.
It's the best thing he said yet. And that's one thing that gets me, because I think most American people, that's one thing that most American people are not on board yet necessarily, and that's with the opposition full-on to NATO, and the fact that Trump has come out there and made that claim and tried to educate some people on why that claim needs to be made, and that case needs to be made. That's not been something I've heard a lot of American people clamoring about. Opposition to foreign wars, yeah, it's growing. Opposition to NATO, chiefly, no, haven't heard that. And that's one thing that Donald Trump's been adamant about for a long time now. So I kind of tend to believe that that's something, and he, for the most part, agrees that Bernie fans can find a little bit of mutual agreement is his opposition to foreign wars.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that and the trade both Bernie and Trump have in common. And I don't disagree with, in theory, either of those things. Now, the maybe more so with trade, you can probably believe him, because I think Donald Trump would start a trade war in a second just to do it. But with the foreign policy, look, they all say this. Look what Obama said. This man won a Nobel Peace Prize for the way he was talking about how he's going to end all the wars. Just from running his mouth, he won a Nobel Peace Prize. He has now been in war longer than any president in the history of the United States of America. Like, that's a real thing. So, can you believe that Donald Trump is going to do what he says on this foreign policy? No.
No, not to the extent that he says it.
No, you can't. And we know what Hillary would do. So, I just, I tend, to go in.
Well, we know exactly what Hillary would do if we could ever see all those emails.
Right, well, that's good.
Unfortunately, we may have to worry and rely on
I don't know what they're going to do.
Putin to get those.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what they're going to do if it gets released. Like, are they going to run Joe Biden? Like, I mean, what
nobody wanted Joe. How many times did Joe Biden run for president? Twice?
I'm not sure.
I know it's been more than once. Twice, 3 times, something like that. Nobody wants Joe Biden. Nobody wants Joe Biden now.
Well, they're not going to have it. Look, it's already inevitable that Trump's going to win.
Does Joe Biden have a job? What does he do for a living?
He just sits there.
Yeah.
He sits somewhere around the White House, just eating beef jerky, I assume.
Hitting on people's wives.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's our vice president.
Probably just watching dirty movies.
I was wondering who was our vice president.
That's him, Mister. How I came to love the
that would be especially because of the what happened with his family. I think he'd be pretty harmless to run and go up there and lose to Trump, and it saves the Clintons a lot of embarrassment.
Well, but then again,
a lot of embarrassment.
But then again, Joe Biden knows how to spell potato, and he didn't invent the internet. So.
Right. Well, he didn't do those things,
See what I did there?
but he did help draft the original version of the Patriot Act after Oklahoma City.
Right.
So that's one they don't want you to remember, because he would rail against the Patriot Act. It's like, well, buddy, why did you do this for?
Freedom.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
freedom isn't free.
Well, that's it. So, I want to again thank Miss Juanita Broaddrick for appearing on the broadcast tonight. Just a truly, I can't say this enough, remarkable woman, brave, courageous woman. I just have the utmost respect for her, and it's unfortunate that her story exists.
It has to be told.
But you know, it has to be. You know, she's willing to go out there. You know, despite all the stories of intimidation, this, that, and the other. She's speaking up, and I believe she's probably speaking up for a lot of women that haven't come to a place in their life yet where they can come out and speak about it, or who knows, whatever reason. So it's good that we're having this conversation, because these are bad people that are just power crazy, drunk with it. And I really think that's what it's about. Like, I think all these sexual exploits that you hear about, it's just, that's the level of power. Like, it's a power thing. It's probably not even a sex thing. It's them dominating. Like, that's how messed up they are in their head. They're crazy. And
literally.
Oh.
Sociopaths.
Mm-hmm. And it's because you think about it, how determined, you get somebody that wants to go and do some positive thing, right? At some point, how much is somebody willing to die for that? Go to that level, like just go to any extreme, like put it all out there. Sometimes you do get that, but that's rare. You sure don't see it in politics, rarely. But then you think about somebody that's determined to achieve their own power, their own success. It's all about them. They'll do anything. Those are the people that are going to rise to the top, because they're going to cut everybody else out, because they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
Bernie supporters know what you're talking about right now.
So I think that's why you say it with all these kind of politicians at the top. They're all sleazy. That's just the world we live in now.
Didn't get there by playing nice, that's for sure.
No, they didn't. They didn't get there by playing nice. And, it's a bloody sport they play in Washington.
I don't know. Do you think at the end of the day, because there's a lot of people that are not going to vote for Trump under any circumstance whatsoever. That there's a lot of people that are not going to vote for Hillary. Particularly a lot of butthurt Bernie supporters.
There'll be a third-party candidate.
Do you think, I think there'll be more weight thrown behind a lot of third-party candidates, number one, but do you think that this may also create even more voter apathy at the end of the day?
Yes.
Yeah, it will.
Yes, it will, because the people that vote third party are only going to be people that have already been considering third party. I think most people that are going to be pissed off and say, I'm not going to vote for Trump, I'm not going to vote for Clinton, they're either voting third party or they're not going to vote at all. I mean, I doubt people are going to be so pissed off at Donald Trump or Hillary that they actually get up and go stand in what's probably going to be record-long voting lines, all to vote for somebody who, a third party, which they probably, like I said, they either know about them going in and plan to vote for them, or they don't. I just don't see a lot of opposition, laying by the wayside.
Yeah.
He's not still running?
I guess still running.
He's actually not eligible. He's like 16 years old. So.
Why are you trying to kill my buzz over here, man? Come on.
Oh, man, you got the buzz slap down hand.
So,
always at the red.
Yeah, so, we covered a lot of material tonight. And I know you're going to have some stories coming up soon, Claire, more stuff about the Clintons, and then we're going to have a story up, hopefully with Miss Broaddrick's interview as well. A lot coming out about them. I mean, I just sucks to be them right now, but who has sympathy for them? Not me.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, not me. I sure
The
don't.
count on their sheets is a lot higher than mine.
Oh, sure. You better believe it. Because I think it's all, what is it that Jeremiah Wright said? Chickens are going to come home to roost. That's what it sounds like happening to them. So.
It needs to happen.
It does. It's needed to happen for a long time. I mean, just one of these stories is so crazy, like that they need to go away. And just all of them piled on top of each other. Like, how are these people still going?
They need to be going because, God forbid, at some point, Chelsea Clinton's going to decide that she needs to be the one to run for president.
Oh, that'll never happen.
And we need to get this out of the way before she ever even gives the idea, the inkling that she has a chance.
The younger,
Chelsea, y'all. She can't help it.
the younger generation will not look back on Bill Clinton fondly. They
No,
won't.
probably not.
History won't remember him well. And I never thought I would say that. But now, because of this, because of Hillary Clinton running for president, history will not treat him well. He would have faded away as the cool president between both Bushes. And the economy was good for right in the 90s. Because she's running, he will be known. It will not be good.
Well, it's something you brought up during the interview with Ms. Broaddrick. The whole what's happened to Bill Cosby right now. The beloved TV American dad now is pretty much branded a rapist wherever he goes now. And this very well possible as much steam as this is now starting to gain. And again, it's important that this story is told because we have a rapist out there loose.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down to it, and I don't say that lightly or with any humor involved. I mean, let's call it what it is. Bill Clinton is a rapist.
On top of being a murderer. A mass murder.
Yeah.
Oh, well, sure, that's true. That's, unfortunately, all the presidents now.
Well,
you're not going to get that job and not be.
He's a mass murderer in the same way Charlie Manson is. Come on now. Charlie never killed nobody.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and yet
sad,
somehow I feel a little bit better that he's still
I'll go with accessory to murder.
Yeah.
But, this is what we're dealing with here. So I think it's finally going to see it. We're finally going to see it. People have been waiting for years and years and years. I never thought it happened, but
think of all this stuff that Donald Trump has brought to us. 28 pages. Unredacted.
Yeah, what else is he going to bring us?
It's like Santa Claus, dude. All of this Christmas coming around here.
Oh, man.
You finally get to call Bill Clinton when he is a rapist.
Yeah.
May finally, once and for all, get Hillary. Because, again, he's just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
We haven't even made it to the first debate between him and Hillary Clinton.
Oh, by the time we get there, he's going to have
we still
already
don't
said
know if
everything.
it's going to happen or not. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and lay it all out on there. And she's going to know exactly the wide chasm that she's going to peer into if she decides to go ahead and engage in one of these debates. It's going to get nasty and rough. Rough.
It will. It's going to be interesting. I mean, who's not going to watch that?
Because there is no high road with Donald Trump.
Like, I would pay...
No, you're down in the ditch, dude.
Yeah,
you're fighting it out in the ditch.
And he's
rainy and nasty.
When it comes to working a microphone.
And he's loving it.
I'd pay $9.99 a month to watch those debates.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Get a network.
It's like $2.50 a week, man.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
cost
it.
of less than a pack of cigarettes.
That's it. Just a, it's like WWE network, Donald Trump network. It'll probably happen. He'll have his own network.
Well, I'm sure.
As president.
I'm sure him and Vince have already worked out some sort.
Yeah, and he'll have all the highlights of him just crushing each politician. You just flip through it just like WWE. Watch the Marco Rubio exchange. And watch the Hillary. I say that's going to be like WrestleMania right there. It's,
I wonder what Marco's doing right now.
I don't know.
Boy, he got real quiet there toward the end.
Bubble bath, no.
Yeah.
Tell you what, again, we've only got like a minute here. I want to thank Ms. Broaddrick again so much for taking the time to speak with us here at Anti-Media Radio. make sure to catch Claire's story tomorrow on the antimedia.org. And as always, you can listen to us at UCY .tv/TAMR for Anti-Media Radio.
And for SM Gibson.
Yeah, whatever. This is SM Gibson. Thank you so much.
I'ma let them know, no, through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.